Um, it's about, let's see, trying to get myself locked and loaded. Um, but anyway, it is about 5:08, and I stood back to the side because I wanted to see if other people were on the track, since there is a man right there who's punching walls and stuff, and I don't want to be bothered with that. Typically, we don't have, um, that kind of stuff going on, but you just never know. I mean, it is a public park, right? And so now that I see another couple and other cars, I'm going to go ahead and approach my walk. Yep. All right. So, like I told y'all, I have to catch the hour between a certain time. Like yesterday, it was 4 to 5. Today, between 5 and 6, it's going to be 1 degrees cooler. Hey, that 1 degrees makes a big difference. You know, it really does. So I try to stay disciplined, moving with my feet. Um, but it was too hot for 3 days because we had that excessive heat warning, and it was just not, feasible to go outside. So I've been going back and forth in my mind, and just with my children, having this discussion about whether or not, here's the park and here's the track, I should join a gym. My daughter was laughing last night because she's like, Mom, you're not going to join the gym because you're a germaphobe. And I was like, you know it. And I've been having a little bit of nasal, drip, allergy issues, itchy eyes, burning nose, whatever they're spraying in the air. Um, I think it's having an impact on a lot of people. I've been talking to a lot of people that have experienced this symptom of nasal dripping or your nose running, right? And maybe not the burning eyes, maybe not the itching. I think it just depends on your, sensitivity, right, to the environmental stuff. But I'm just gonna work through it. I have to work through it. So what I do is, and let me get that in focus, okay? Calculates my steps, right? So I try to make sure that I reach my goal of 10,000 steps or more a day. And I've been doing pretty good for the most part. If I get about 7 or 8 right here at the track, then the other 3 just come, while I go throughout the day. And then typically I end up with more. So I'm going to show you what that looks like when you attach it to the phone, right? So on the phone, it looks like this, okay? And I go right here and I can see, the amount of time I walk a day, the miles, the calories, the floors, and my overall averages, right? Overall averages. What I like to do is sign up down here on the together, walk together, okay? So when I do the walk together, I get to reach a goal with the group. And they don't necessarily have to be people that I chose, right? There's other people that are reaching their together goal, and they have a monthly global goal, which is, last month it was lavender. Let's see. How come it's not coming up? Well, I got that challenge. I won that. It's 200,000 steps a month, right? And so I got that one. Yeah, as soon as I want something to work, it doesn't work. Anyway, this one They have different badges. It's Samsung Health, and then it shows right here the most steps that I did were 16,325, and that was, I beat my record. So as you can see, I stay pretty consistent, on the steps. Yes, I am in morning prayer already. So, you can break your personal record. I like that, right? So on June 18th, I officially broke my personal record, and the highest that I had walked prior to that was 15,977 steps that day, in a day, right? Like I said, it just depends on, what you can do. Like when I first started, I knew 10,000 was my goal, but what I did, and this is a weekly summary. I gotta give you a weekly summary. What I did was start out at half, right? Like, how can I accomplish small milestones so that I can get to my goal? Just making sure that I just pace myself. And it wasn't hard for me because I had gone through a lot, walking and running, and like I said before, used to run varsity cross country in high school, so I knew how to build my endurance, pace myself, and all of that. But yeah, that's a neat app, the Samsung Health. If you have a watch, I don't know, some of you guys might use Apple products. Let me know what you use, right? And I also want to hear from y'all about what you think about going to these fitness centers or gyms. Like I said, I'm not trying to have perfection or be all like, weightlifting. I just want to stay active. And when it's hot, I can't go outside. And so I have to try to do all of my steps early in the morning when there's that 1 degrees drop. Right now it just is 84. So there's a 1 degrees drop from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. from 85 to 84. And then by 8, it'll already be in the 90s and into the hundreds later on. So, like I said, been looking at, what's going on at the gym. Let me know your thoughts on that. If any of you belong to one, how you feel about the sanitation, the cleanliness. Other than that, I'm just going to be over here doing my thing, walking, probably listen a little bit to the wise sayings, wise teachings. Like I said, book of wisdom, just to get me started for my day. But I just wanted to come and say hey. And I know some of y'all ain't on the West. I'm out here on the West, so 5 o'clock my time is 8 something your time right now. So just saying hi. I hope y'all have a great day. If you don't do anything, enter everything with the mentality of overcoming, right? I want to drop that word, because sometimes we think we got to have it a certain way. We enter into a challenge, or it could be just anything in life that you might be going through. Anything. Can't pay the rent. Having a hard time finding a job. Or maybe, have everything you want, but still, there's something that's missing, right? Think of it like, stay in the fight, right? Do what you got to do to maintain your position, because that's how you overcome. I've been seeing people give up every day. Like, I can't do this anymore. Well, what else are you going to do? I had a talk with a lady last night, and she said, I don't want to live anymore. And I said, so let's talk about what killing yourself looked like, because that's what you're saying, right? And I'm not trying to be funny or insensitive, but you already took it all the way in your mind. You took it all the way in your mind. You've already plotted this out. I've talked to you about getting help, and that's not what you want to do. So you just want to sit here and talk about death and destruction. But what does it look like if you act it out and nothing happens, right? And I'm just being real. She knows I'm not there. I'm not a therapist. Okay? Of course I'm gonna say, go get help. Of course, if somebody comes to me like she did and say, I don't want to be here anymore. So what are you saying? Are you saying that you don't want to live, or do you want to kill yourself? Like, what are you saying? Because I heard it multiple times from the same person. Oh, shalom, sis. How are you? I hope you have a good day, a great day, a great day. And so I'm not trying to continue to hear this same thing. Now, if you want to talk to me about a plan to overcome, we could talk about that. But if you keep on telling me, I just don't want to live anymore, then I'm going to ask you, well, what you going to do about that? Because I saw this documentary, and I can't remember where. I think it was on YouTube. I was looking for it because I wanted to send it to her. And there were people that had tried to off themselves, and they wouldn't die. Excuse me, I have these allergies, like I said. And the one girl, she talked about how she threw herself in front of the dang train. Now, you got to be desperate to throw yourself in front of a train. And the train ended up sucking her under and chopping her body off in half. So now the girl is still alive. Okay, she's still alive, because she wouldn't have been on the documentary if she wasn't. And got to live with half a body. And then on that same show, there was a guy who jumped off of a real high building. Real high. And he knew, because he had measured it and looked it up and everything else, that if he jumped, he wasn't going to live. But he jumped off the building, broke everything. Okay, I'm talking about legs, ribs, and still lived. And then he had to have like one of his legs amputated. And so that didn't work. And, you hear these, stories about people that have tried, and what they did could have possibly succeeded, but it didn't. And so I asked the lady, in the state that you're in now, in your being, where you're at presently, how are you going to live? Because you talk about dying a lot. Yes, I thought that was crazy. I said, listen, if it ain't your time, it's appointed until man wants to die, once for the judgment. If it ain't your time, you ain't going. Okay? And so I asked her, how are you going to live? I need you to tell me, what is it that you're going to do? And if you don't know, say that, right? Don't say, I don't want to be here anymore, I can't do this. Because you're making that manifest. And, she said, you're right, Christina, I don't even know how to live like this. And I said, well, then that requires you having the ability to develop some skills and trainings in warfare, because I understand we all going through some kind of battle for this time frame. So let's talk about that, right? And I'm not going to just tell you what to do. I'm here, like I got your back. But I don't want to hear you calling me every single time I talk to you. You talking about, I can't do this no more, I just want it all to end. I feel like driving my car through a building. I'm not a therapist. And I'm not a mandated adult reporter. I work in education system, so I have to talk about children. But because you brought this issue to me, I don't want to leave with just saying, oh, I'm going to pray for you, because that sounds sacrilegious. Like, I want to talk about what can we do so you can overcome. And so we had that discussion, and I told her, be careful what you wish for. Don't ever call death and destruction upon yourself, because the way that you envision something ain't the way it's gonna come, right? And how do you even know? How do you even know that this is your own thought? How you know that this is your own thought, right? We got to ask ourselves that. There's been times where I'm going throughout the day and I get an intrusive thought like, wait a minute, what? And I have to rebuke it right away, because I know it's not something that I think, and I know it's not what my Father who art in heaven is thinking either, right? Just doesn't line up. Doesn't line up with the image and the likeness of the Most High at all. Nothing in it says this is coming from a righteous place, right? So immediately I will reject that thought, word, whatever it is that tried to intrude. And I'll just say, you know what? I cast it away, never to return, not in the same way, right? Because I know that that's not my thought and I'm not going to accept it. But that requires you to be able to understand that level of mental warfare, right? And not succumb to it, right? You know, if you knew what it was, you would fight it. But when you don't know what it is, it can be deceiving, making you believe. That's what deception is. Deception is, right? Based off of something we didn't know, and we might find out later that we were deceived. But at the time that we're being deceived, we really don't know, or else it wouldn't be deception. It would be called maybe fraudulent, lying, right? But deception involves a party that doesn't know. Maybe you find out after the fact, right? And so, yes. I spent actually 6 years in early childhood education with the babies. They're so cute, the little babies, 2 and 3 year olds, when we had early childhood education centers, and that was in San Diego Unified. They don't really have those anymore. Like state preschools and Head Start started taking over that. So I feel you, because right after they started shutting down the early childhood education centers, and you'll know what I'm saying because you're a school district employee. Well, I had the ability to bump because, you know, they didn't have any more programs to place us salaried, full-time, permanent employees. So I had the ability to bump, and unfortunately I had to bump somebody at special education. So I went to SPED for 7 years, and I was working there, and it was at an all special education school. So none of the kids were diploma bound, none of them. And they actually had preschool through 12th grade. So you had mod to severe, you know, students. But during that time, I noticed the majority of them were autistic, right? And that's when they still had the terminology of Asperger's. So, you know, some of them did that. But yeah, I worked in the district for 13 years. Now, I work for another set of districts that are under one management organization, like one main district, kind of like the same public schools. It's still public schools, right? Still government controlled and ordained and funded, right? But I'm their parent and family engagement specialist. So I'm the one that creates the programs for the parents and comes out and gives the resources and stuff to the families if they're having a hard time. It doesn't just have to do with education. It could be dealing with anything. And because I have legal knowledge and expertise, a lot of times it's like letter drafting or advocacy that I'm helping them with or training them to do. Yeah. So that's, you know, since I graduated from high school, I've been working in public education in some capacity or the other. But yeah, I just wanted to let y'all know, like, just overcome, right? Like for today, I'm just going to be an overcomer. I don't know what's going to happen. No, I don't. When I leave this park from my hour walk and talking with y'all and praying and all of that, I have no clue. I know my schedule, but that doesn't mean I can predict what's going to happen, the unknowns. But one thing I know is that I am going to overcome, right? Be an overcomer. And so I just pray that the Most High give you the strength, the wisdom, the knowledge, and the ability, the capacity, the stretch, and the flex to be able to, in all situations, overcome. And the book of Revelation says to he who overcomes, right? And so that has to be our mindset. We cannot walk out the house defeated, okay? I love you all. I pray that you have a great day, and I will talk to you. Yes, familiar. I will talk to you all later. Hey, hug the babies for me. I mean, you can air hug them. You know, I love little children. I've been working with children my whole life. Seriously, been a protector of children my whole life. Since I was 9 years old. I remember being 9 with all the children. And so I hope that they have a great day. And that you do too, sister. I will talk to you all later. Shalom, and may righteousness and justice and overcoming be with you. Show you what to, yes.